G'day Aussie Gridiron fans, welcome to the G'day Gridiron podcast. Free Agency Halfa Day 3 edition. Can you believe, Brad and I, this is the fourth day we've been doing this in a row. Of course we did like day 0, essentially the day before. 1, 2 and 3 now. Brad, it's a slog, but we're proving that we can probably do it every night as long as it's 30 minutes long.
That's right. It's true. I love doing it. And this is the best time of the year to do this. So it's well worth it.
As much as I'm loving this process every night so far this week and just catching up on the day's news, I absolutely love this part. I am looking forward to the podcast, whatever podcast we do after that, where we start really discussing the meat and potatoes of what everybody did. I don't really necessarily want to grade, free agencies like a lot of places do, because I hate that. Because just like drafts, I think you don't know a true grade until down the track.
Yeah.
Free agency, I guess you know that grade by mid-season, right?
Right.
But as we've already proven, you don't know a draft grades until 3 years down the track when they're all getting first contracts. So,
Exactly.
but I just getting into the meat and potatoes of what does the roster look like now, and then what pieces do each still need to do. That's the bit I'm looking forward to after we get past the rest of these days on the calendar.
Absolutely. We've talked about that, just how this is so much shaping everything, and we're just seeing it play out. And, there's been so much chaos, I think, and I feel like in this particular free agency period. And today, it was, like you say, good phrase, meat and potatoes. But yet we still had some drama and still had some unexpected things. And it was, it did not disappoint, to say the least.
Yeah. Well, hey, maybe day 3 of the free agency is the meat and potatoes day. It is the official start of the new league year. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy 2026-27 season.
Yeah.
Maybe this is meat and potatoes day. And just like any meat and potatoes day, sometimes you put the spuds in the oven and they come out perfect. Yes. Sometimes it takes half hour extra and you ruin everybody's dinner because something unexpected happens, like Trey Hendrickson signing with the Ravens.
That is a beautiful segue, by the way. Yeah,
I'm getting good at segues, Brad.
That was good. Yes, exactly. And you and I talked about it on yesterday's podcast with the whole idea of, if this happens, if Trey Hendrickson signs with Baltimore, then those conspiracy theories that we talked about are just only going to get more emphatic and more noise. And sure enough, I opened up this morning and I looked at my my phone, and I don't do social media, but I have the Athletic app, and so I looked at that and I saw Trey Hendrickson sign, and I went, yeah, there you go. The chaos has ensued, and bring on the conspiracy theories.
Yeah, and they were out, even to the point where the Ravens GM, whose name escapes me right now, Eric DeCosta? Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He actually held a press conference on national TV to explain why this whole situation unfolded the way it did. He really didn't say anything more than the Raiders doctors might have looked at Max Crosby, but our doctors looked at Max Crosby and we trust their judgment more, and we didn't think in the end that what we were outlaying for him was going to be the right investment. And you know what? That's business, and that's the way you conduct business. And essentially said that he shot down all the rumors and basically said that after they found that out, they immediately jumped to Trey Hendrickson's side and contacted his agent and tried to start working out a deal. There is a little bit in the background that obviously I'm updating Brad as much as everybody else, I think, where there were quite a few other teams in the mix for Trey Hendrickson, and we'll talk about one of those a bit later on that picked up somebody else afterwards. But a few there, they're all apparently having really good discussions, like 3 or 4 teams, really good discussions with the agent, and then suddenly everything went quiet, and then the Max Crosby stuff came out. And then they all knew, essentially, at that point that the Ravens had jumped in and likely offered something much larger than any of them were actually discussing with Hendrickson's agent.
Did you see this? I came across this one report that said Baltimore didn't plan to sign either Crosby or Hendrickson. They planned to sign them both. Yeah. So the Ravens, obviously agreed to do the 2 first-round picks for Crosby, and he comes in for the surgery or for the medical examination. But according to this report that I came across, the Ravens were also simultaneously negotiating with Trey Hendrickson.
Wouldn't that have been wild, Brad? Both
Could
of
you
them.
imagine? I mean, yeah. So, and I don't know that we'll ever know, but the goal they said was to build, essentially the most terrifying pass rush in football. Imagine going from nothing to having Crosby and Hendrickson. That would have been epic.
There was a bit of another joke meme thing that came out today, Brad, off the back of the one I told you about yesterday with the conspiracy theories, where someone said the Browns now have one of the funniest opportunities to do. They could do one of the funniest things in football and offer, because everyone's saying the Raiders are going to be itching to get rid of him now, but offer the Raiders a couple of draft picks because the Browns have so many draft picks, and pair him with Myles Garrett. And equally that would be just phenomenal. But yeah, Crosby has come out afterwards a couple of hours ago today and said that he's looking forward to staying in Las Vegas now, and he's fully back in with the Raiders, and he's had a chat with them and all this sort of stuff. So probably expect at some point a new Max Crosby deal to come out. There'll be a rework deal. But Trey Hendrickson signed with the Ravens. Let's talk about Trey Hendrickson. Yeah. Signed with the Ravens, 4 years, $112 million deal for a guy who couldn't get the Bengals to pay him more than $15 million. This has worked out brilliantly for Trey, and that's all he's been wanting for the last couple of years from the Bengals is longevity and assurance that he's going to have a job longer than 12 months.
Yeah. It's basically it's a human basic need. You want to feel appreciated. You want to feel valued, no matter if you're a pro football player or if you're the guy who picks up the garbage. You want to feel like you matter, and when you don't get treated like that, Bengals, people get pissed off and they leave. So I don't blame him at all for wanting to get out of there, and kudos to him. He's only getting the average value of his contract is $28 million, 60 million's guaranteed. So, it's not really going to be a 4-year contract. The dude's 32 years old. So realistically, it's probably going to be a 2 to 3 year contract, most likely. I mean, we're seeing Khalil Mack. He's 35 and doing ridiculous stuff. But I don't think anybody else is Khalil Mack, and I don't think Trey's going to be able to hold that standard for that long. But shoot, if they can get 2 years out of him, I think it'll be a good deal. Yeah,
absolutely, it will be. I think it is. I think that guaranteed money, Brad, I think is where it's all about. He's been amongst the pass rush leaders for the last I think it's 3 out of the last 5 seasons. Yes. So even longer, actually. You could probably go to 4 out of the last 6. The other 2 seasons, he didn't have much. There wasn't much going on in 2022 with the Bengals for some reason. And obviously last season, he got hurt, and he's coming off an injury now. But he is consistently at the top end of the park when it comes to pass rushes. Another guy who ended up with a big contract, and it's a contract back with the team that he was with. Daniel Jones finally lands another major contract. This time, of course, with the Colts, who signed him today, and he basically ends up as one of the big winners financially. Brad, he's essentially he's the new Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, exactly. That's right. It's insane to me that a guy coming off an Achilles injury like he had can just fall ass backwards like Kramer from Seinfeld into money. The guy is he's done an amazing job. I mean, in the sense of for what he's got. I know you can't fault any of these guys for what they get, but he played his best football last year. People may not remember, Indy started 8-2, and through the first 10 weeks, I think it was, or so, he bet the Colts were first in offense, first in total offense, and first in expected points added, EPA, which has become a standard stat, per drive. So that he was playing lights out, and Daniel Jones himself was there was talk of he was playing MVP caliber level there. So it was clear that he elevated the game. Now, does he deserve this kind of money? No, but it's the market is the market, So
it is. Daniel Jones's contracts are wild. Rookie contract with the Giants is $25 million. Okay, rookie contract. They're all set in stone. He gets a rookie extension of 4 years, $160 million. I think he ended up with about $92 million of that total guarantee. Okay. And then they dump him. He signs after a short while on the practice squad at the Vikings, signs with the Colts last season for a guaranteed $14 million contract, and now signs a transition tag, basically extension. He gets a transition tag money as well, I think, which is 37. Okay, but he then signs a transition tag extension, which is 2 years, $88 million, including $60 million total guarantees. $50 million at signing. So it's just, but for a guy like that $14 million season, he bet on himself.
Yep.
And he came out ahead. And that's what it's all about for these guys who get, I guess people treat them differently and think that they're no good because they might fail in one place and might not necessarily be, it's not the fault of the player. They may actually find a new scheme and a new place or a new home and just thrive. And I'm looking at you, Vikings fans, who keep carrying on about the fact that we shouldn't sign Kyler Murray. The Bills signed Bradley Chubb to boost their pass rush. They were one of the teams that were in the Trey Hendrickson sweepstakes. They end up signing or pivoting and signing Bradley Chubb immediately after Hendrickson was signed this morning. 3 years, $43.5 million deal for, again, a guy who has been pretty productive. 8.5 sacks last season, but Buffalo had largely nothing last season, so this is definitely an upgrade.
Yeah, it's definitely an upgrade. Buffalo has a new defensive coordinator, Jim Leonhard, and he's putting in a 3-4 defense. And in a 3-4, you really need true edge rushers, outside linebackers who attack, and Chubb fits that. That's kind of his MO. And last year, the pass rush just wasn't good enough. They didn't get good sack production. They had the fifth fewest in the NFL, and they had to make some moves, and it looks a little bit like they overpaid because basically the board was kind of drying up. But and I think from what I read, Hendrickson was on Buffalo's radar, but then obviously he doesn't go, and what's his name, Clavon Chasen, he goes to Washington. And so some of these lower level mid-tier guys, Malcolm Kuntz, resigns with the Raiders. And I think Buffalo a little bit felt like the market was getting away from them. They didn't want to go back to Bosa, apparently. And so they pulled the trigger, and they overpaid a little bit, but they had to. They didn't really have much choice in it.
I don't think it's a massive overpay though either.
Not massive. It's not massive.
He's a 14.5 average, which is pretty respectable when you look at the edge rusher contracts right now, of which Jalen Phillips and Trey Hendrickson are at the top of in the current free agent market. And there's other guys around him like Kwity Paye, Boye Mafe. As you mentioned, Kuntz has got a 1 year, $11 million, but Draymond Jones got 3 years with a $12 million average. I think it's a pretty reasonable contract for Bradley Chubb considering what he's produced.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's going to be 30. He's turning 30, so he's it's weird because I don't associate him as younger than Trey Hendrickson, but he is.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just I don't know if it's because when they came out. I'd be curious to know how long they've been playing, but there is some durability issues with him. As long as like everybody, as long as he can stay healthy, this could turn into a good move.
Yeah, it could. Absolutely could. Weirdly, Brad, a lot of these edge rushers are around that age bracket. Even the
Yeah,
top
you're right.
guys. They're all in that sort of 26, 27 to sort of 30 age bracket. So it's not outside the realm's possibility, essentially.
No, no.
No, it's not. Yeah, they can still do well. Patriots go on a bit of a day three spending spree. They picked up Kevin Byard, KJ Britt, Julian Hill, Mike Brown. The big one though, Elijah Vera Tucker from the Jets. Now Vera Tucker has had a lot of issues staying healthy over his careers. Had what did he
That's
say
putting
earlier,
it
Brad?
mildly. That's putting it
Three
mildly.
season-ending injuries, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So
Three.
Three in his entire career, which is I think spans 5 years, was expected to sign. The expectations out there was that he would sign probably like a 1 year, $3 million contract with someone. He signed with the Patriots for 3 years, $42 million.
That is insane. When you go from the expected 1 year, 3 million, an average of 3 million to 3 years, 42 million, that is, almost 15 million, almost 5 times your average. That is absolutely insane for a guy that hasn't been able to play, I think, more than 7 games any one season in the last 3 years. So
Yeah.
it blows me away.
In 4.5 years as a rookie, he has played only 43 games. Two
Yeah.
seasons only have been anywhere near a full season, like over 80% of the season.
Right, right.
It's and yes, he has been a very productive player and good at his craft when he is on the field, but durability is a massive issue. He does actually have a per game active bonus incentive tied into his contract, so there is the thought, obviously, there from the Patriots that he's got to be on the field, he's got to be on the active roster to be able to get paid. But they did also give him $21 million guaranteed.
Yeah. I'd be curious to know how they load manage him. If they say with a guy like that, he's just been so injury prone that we're gonna be very intentional about even the amount of reps and the different drills that we have them do. That's one thing that always intrigues me is how much load management goes into the NFL and some of these in specific players. Because gone are the days where they just say, get out there and put some dirt on it and play football. They really are very scientific about how they load manage these guys. And I can't imagine they don't have a plan. They would know, obviously, his full medical history. So they've got to have a plan for how they're going to utilize him. I mean, he's going to play left guard because their old left guard's going to slide over to center. But still, I just think, oh, gosh, they're biting off a lot to try and get this guy to play a full season.
Yeah, I have to totally agree, Brad. All right. I thought we might take a quick look at, we're into day three, or the end of day three. So teams spending the most in 2026 free agency so far. Top 5 teams expenditure so far. Las Vegas Raiders are at the very top. Around $280 million they have spent on free agents signings.
Christmas.
It's about 9 players all up. The biggest, of course, is Tyler Linderbaum. They gave Jalen Naylor quite a decent bag. Quiddy Pay, Quay Walker, Nakobe Dean as well. Interestingly, just having a quick look on over the cap, the Raiders still have around $37 million in cap space.
Ha! That is absolutely insane when you think about it. I mean, they entered free agency with the most cap space in the NFL, and they have used it.
They used it and used it well. So they're leading. Despite being very, very aggressive, they're leading that.
I had a friend back in college who just got a job, and he discovered a credit card, and
I've discovered those, Brad.
The Raiders are behaving like that guy in college who discovered a credit card for the very first time. It's just swipe. It's crazy, man.
Number two, coming in at number two is the Tennessee Titans, around $270 million, not far off the Raiders.
Yeah,
8 players. Their big signings: Wan'Dale Robinson for $70 million. Daniel Bellinger, the tight end, for 3 years as well. John Franklin Myers got $63 million. Defensive lineman, he's well worth it as well. Alontae Taylor, Cordell Flott. Today, Brad, they acquired Solomon Thomas from the Cowboys in a trade. Is a trade involving a player and a swap of 7th round picks. Seems like the Cowboys really wanted to get rid of Solomon Thomas.
That moves the needle. Swapping 7th round picks. Oh,
the Titans backed over the cap, $50 million still in cap space.
Yeah. See. Yeah. Again. I mean, between the
I
two,
don't think they haven't been as aggressive, I think, as the Raiders have.
No, they haven't. And personally, I like what the Raiders did more than what the Titans did. I think Wan'Dale Robinson at $70 million is an overpay. But and that they'll be able to get out of that after a couple of years. But still, I found that I felt like in comparing the two, I like what the Raiders did better.
We get quite a large fall to number 3, which is the New England Patriots, who estimate their spending, or the estimated spending for them is roughly between $150 and $200 million. Their big signings, of course, Romeo Dobbs from yesterday.
Huge.
A 4-year deal with somewhere between $78 and $80 million. People still don't know. Elijah Vera Tucker that we talked about just before, 3 years, 42. And Draymond Jones for a 3-year deal somewhere in the vicinity of $36 to $39 million. One of the most active teams by number of signings, rebuilding on both sides and as well as special teams, but not as much in the way of expenditure for rebuilding those.
I'll leave it at that. It's kind of
today's signing of Daniel Jones jumped the Indianapolis Colts up to number 4 with around $150 million. Of course, they also brought in Shavarius Ward, Cam Bynum, and Arden Key were their other big signings or their major deals that got them to that much. So more focused on offensive core than anything else, Brad.
Yeah, definitely. And we consider Daniel Jones, he's taken up over half that salary cap. That's a significant reason that they're up there. The Chavarius Ward, I think, was a good one. Considering they gave up 2 ones for the cornerback that they got last year, I think that's going to be a good pickup for them. And Cam Bynum for safety, that's going to help them as well. So I like their moves. I like what they did more so than Tennessee personally.
And then number 5, rounding out the 5, Baltimore Ravens, about $130 million.
Yeah, how much of that was Hendrickson?
Trey Hendrickson is 112 of that.
See there, yeah. Oh my gosh, that's like you as the dad, you're like, I'm gonna go out and buy me a new Audi, a new BMW, and then meanwhile everybody else in the family is driving a Ford Festiva. It's just.
I think you're referring to a midlife crisis, Brad.
Yes.
I think I'm having the midlife crisis part, but I'm too broke to spend anything.
Fair. Okay, it's buying the big screen TV, and then everybody else has to watch TV on the cell phones. I don't
And I
know.
also disagree with the fact that midlife for me would be 46 because I ain't living to 90. Just quickly, teams with the most signings by volumes. Patriots 10 players, Raiders 9, Titans 8, Commanders 7, Saints for 6.
Okay.
Saints have signed 6 players so far.
Yeah, they I think they had a big first day where they signed quite a few. You know, they're what was their big splash on day one? It was a running back. Was it Jacksonville?
Yeah,
Was
Travis Etienne. Yep,
ETN.
Yep.
Yep.
Etienne. And they got Alontae Taylor too, cornerback, which is a great pickup. I think
That's right.
I think from the Saints though, it was more of a little bit of a pivot because I think they were expecting to have to be in the quarterback stakes.
Okay. Yep.
And then suddenly we've got a quarterback. You know,
Yeah,
that's
right,
what the Saints
exactly.
have gone like, holy shit, like, you know, midway through last season, all of a sudden they're like, well, hey, hang on, this kid can actually play.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and
And,
I think too, they were probably angling for this year's draft because originally, if you remember, like, you know, this time last year, we thought the current quarterback crop coming out was going to be really good, and they have not lived up to expectations. You've seen, you know, Manning, he's going to go back again, which is so he should for another year, and you know, Mendoza wasn't even on anybody's radar a year ago, but here he is coming out as the number one. So, you know, some teams build through the draft, others do it through free agency. So it just kind of depends on your philosophy. Unless you're the Patriots, then you just kind of go, you're like you're at Costco and just do bulk buying. So,
just bulk buying everything.
Yeah.
So I think that might have been the difference there is that they might have been in on some of these quarterbacks or really trying to go hard, but realised that they've probably got a guy that they can lean on for the next couple of years, if not long term, if he really starts working out.
Yeah.
And just go down the road with Tyler Shuck, basically, which I will have fun saying his name forever now. Teams on the other end that are barely spent. The Chiefs, the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Lions all been largely quiet. Not much going on with any of them.
Okay, so those 4 teams, Chiefs, Eagles, Cowboys, Lions. What do all of them but one have in common? Well, the Chiefs, Super Bowl, Eagles, Super Bowl, Lions, number 1 contender. Dallas, where have you been? And yet
in the wilderness, Brad.
Oh, mate, it's stuff like that. When I see that, it gets me frustrated. So yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is, Brad. But you know, at the end of the day, not everybody can be a winner.
Oh, I've known that for the past 30 years, mate.
Yeah,
trust me.
Well, since 1960 for the Vikings, mate.
Okay,
so.
Yeah, fair point. Your dry spell's a little bit longer.
But yeah, not everyone can be a winner, and that is what it is. But yeah, I would expect. You look at the draft though. I think I'm expecting those teams to be a lot more active when we get to draft time than they are in free agency.
Yeah, I don't blame the Eagles and the Lions for staying patient. I feel like the Chiefs have done a couple of moves, and they didn't need to do a bunch. Those 3 teams, Chiefs, Eagles, Lions, I don't feel like they had to do a bunch. Cowboys,
the Chiefs picked up Kenneth Walker. So number one,
that's huge.
You've got a huge running back signing, and that was massive.
Yes.
So you don't need to do much more outside of that. You re-signed Travis Kelce. You re-signed Tyquan Thornton. I know he's only wide receiver depth, but at this point you need wide receivers. You moved on some other guys as well, and you signed. Who did we sign, Brad? Wide receiver. Oh no, that was it. Yeah. So, but it was just the Kenneth Walker thing is a massive thing, and it filled a massive need for them. So
yeah, you bet it did.
So that's it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, free agency Halfa, day 3, done and dusted. I'm guessing we'll probably be back tomorrow.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see what goes on.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. Plan
see.
for it.
We'll plan for it, and then we'll see how we go. And we might take a break on a weekend. Who knows?
Yeah.
We're going to have to, because I'm going to be half dead by the time we get to a weekend. So,
yeah.
Anyway, at G'day Gridiron, you'll find us everywhere. At Pastry Press NFL. Manjot will still be out there doing heaps of stuff. Everything is at Linktree/Aussie Gridiron Network. Make sure you check all that out, and we will see you later.
Peace.